How reserved are you at Woodward? Hey, it's Brain Muffin back with not a beer review. So this is Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And this, I don't know if it's my first bourbon review. I know I bought some. I got some larger bottles than this thing over here. And I never reviewed them. Now, I know we've done some liquor and beer pairings on this channel. And this is me branching out. Now, for all the bourbon snobs in attendance, I will gladly take constructive criticism because bourbon is an area that, yes, the last 2 ski seasons I've had some. I've been able to give some critique of flavors and profiles. In fact, on one of them, I don't remember if it was Four Roses or if it was the other one. Was it Weller? Something I've been able to try, I cannot find. It's Ancient 107, something like that. And I described it as buttery, and one of my fellow patrol members said, bourbon isn't buttery, and the person who's a bourbon snob said, yes, it is. So I took that as I am learning. So stereotypically, let me tell you the flavors that I tend to expect from a bourbon, and this is, for the most part, taken from beers that I've had that have been barrel aged and bourbon barrel aged stuff, whether they're stouts or ales or what have you. Typically, because they're oak, there is a hint of vanilla. Now, this is probably a trick of the brain because it's not actually vanilla extract typically, although sometimes you might get that. And then last year's beer and liquor pairing. So I mean, I don't know, I did Smirnoff and Smirnoff vanilla something, and that was a pumpkin beer. And in fact, and I think that was Samantha. I met her today again. I know I've met her before, but she didn't remember. I mean, that was like what, September last year. We did it out on the deck right as they were making some new stuff. So anyway, this is Woodford Reserve. This is a sample size. That's the other thing too, is I started looking at the prices of some of these bottles, and there's a whole bunch that I want to try. A $3.50 for some of them, and granted, they're top shelf, $100. I don't have that kind of money. If you all watch more of my videos and spread it all around the internet, maybe I can have that kind of money. So anyway, to me, on the nose, now granted, I have got to research how bourbon's made because I got to make some. To me, what I smell is, to me, there's a hint of barley to this. Now, I don't know how this is made. I don't know if they use corn. I don't know if they use barley. I don't know. I have any clue. And that's part of what I want to learn. There are some other stuff on here. Now that I've poured it, it's even harder to read. I'm not going to try. I don't know what the heck that says. And yes, I know. Every time I do one of these and I can't read a freaking thing, I say I got to get to the Johnson City Ice Center, and then I forget. And it's at night. Hopefully the frogs aren't too loud. But tomorrow, if I get a chance, the starter kit, the opening kit, whatever you want to call it, is going in the pool. So that should get rid of some of it. But there's also I have a drainage problem. I fixed it, and now it's back to being it's worse than it's ever been. And so we've had a crap ton of rain, and all the frogs are like right over here. Ow. I don't mind it when they're in the woods further, because kind of down over the hill, there's a stream that comes down that always has water in it. And for days after it rains, you can hear it flowing. I don't try to venture that way too much because I don't care to encounter rattlesnakes, but I don't know if there's any down there or not, and I'm not going to find out the hard way that there are. See, to me, on the nose, here's what I get. I get hints of barley, hints of oak, alcohol, and a hint of vanilla. And that barley is probably more of a caramelization mindset, right? Because that's what's given some of the coloring. Now, some of that is the oak. And it has a drawing warmth. Like it has a warmth that wants to pull you in. Now, I'm not doing it hot. I did put 3 ice cubes in here. We do have good well water, and it's filtered. And I keep meaning to test the pH, and I haven't done that yet because I really want a fish tank too. And they're a pain in the butt, but I really want one. So to me, on the tongue, there's a heat from the alcohol, and it's present and lingers. And then again, I get hints of vanilla, hints of oak, and it's not a smoky flavor. There is a presence that I can't quite describe. And I don't know if Woodford Reserve is good or bad or whatever. I know, and I do have some Four Roses, and I could have sworn it was Weller. I have a picture. Whatever it was that I had at the end of season party up at beach, I haven't found anywhere, at least in Mountain City. So next time I'm in Elizabethton, there is a really good liquor store in Elizabethton, the name of which escapes me at the moment. And they apparently have some decent beer, and always it's like, hey, let's stop in. But then by the time we get on shopping, I'm so tired, I just want to go home. And it's like almost an hour from there. And it's usually getting dark. And it's like, I'm not stopping. So, and see, what's crazy about this is because of the coloring, and this is because of rum, I want to say, oh, I expect brown sugar notes, but that's rum. And I don't expect it here. And there's a lingering dryness that I get with many of these, and I don't know if it's because it's the high alcohol content, and as it evaporates off my tongue, it leaves the concept of dryness, even though it really isn't. This is not like a dry white wine. Well, there are dry whites. A dry red wine, real like terse, not sandy, but it like just kind of takes your saliva glands and just dries them up. And I don't like those kinds of red wines. The only red wine I really like is Lambrusco, which is kind of a Swedish wine. And oddly enough, many of the sweet German wines I don't like at all. I like some of the drier white wines. So I think it's a finished process. I think that's what it gets to. So many times I give a number on these, and I don't know yet what to do with bourbon. And I've had worse, and I've had better. That's for certain. So this feels like a middle of the road, decent but not great bourbon. This is not a well bourbon. It's not like Kentucky Tavern or something like that where you want to mix it with something because it's so horrid. However, it does have a lingering bitterness. Some might say, is it really, it does have a bite to it. And some people like that. Now, my Scottish heritage likes that. My Irish heritage doesn't. And my Irish heritage kind of wins out a little bit. Most likely because it's going along with my German heritage, where the whiskey should give a punch and then kind of mellow out. And I understand there's some Welsh in there, and there's something else too. It's something I want to say, it's either Denmark or Sweden. I don't remember on my dad's DNA results. It was something we went, where the heck is this coming from? Because we have no clue. So it might come from his father. We're not sure. From what we know of his mother, it doesn't. But his father, we're not 100% sure who his birth parents were. But no, and granted, the ice cubes are melting, but that punch is still there. So for me, this is a good, but not great, middle of the road bourbon. It's probably a bad example to introduce someone to bourbon because the bitterness does linger on and on and on and on. It gives you a punch in the mouth and keeps punching for quite a while. But let me know, Woodford Reserve, is this actually, am I just full of crap and this is a great bourbon? Is this a crappy bourbon? Let me know in the comments below because I don't know and I'm willing to learn. I know Maker's Mark is good and I like it. And I know Buffalo Trace is good and I like it. I know Weller, I think it's Weller, Ancient 107 is really good and I like it. And I like Four Roses. but that's all I know for certain. Thank you very much, and we will see you. Goodbye.